Hi guys, so this is going to be a commentated speedrun of my world record run in Divinity Original Sin 2, since a lot of the tricks are actually pretty confusing, and if you watch the run without knowing anything, it probably just looks like a bunch of gibberish. If any of you actually want to learn how to do all the tricks I do in this run properly, I highly suggest joining the speedrun Discord for the game that I'll be linking in the description of this video, where there are people with way more knowledge about the game than me that'll be able to explain why these tricks work in the first place. Just a quick disclaimer about this commentary before we start. I'm going to be assuming that people have at least played the game normally, and so I won't be explaining which NPCs which when I say names to explain some parts, or what items do and other things like that. I'm also going to be pausing a lot to explain some things since this run goes by pretty fast. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, I'm just reorganizing my hotbar here so that I can put the spells I'm using in places that are comfortable for me to press quickly, and take out some of the ones that I don't need. What you're gonna see me do here, and also a bunch more times throughout the run after I cast an ability, is a ping cancel. So basically I just left click then right click the ping button up here next to the minimap, which allows me to cancel some of the ending animations of an ability, and let me move sooner than normal. So there's the ping cancel. Then here I'll just clean up a bit of my inventory by putting those items in the bag since I won't need them. And I'm going to be picking up a barrel and crate in this level. So the barrel I'll use to clip through a wall later, and the crate is basically just for weight. So since this is a speed run, I don't want to waste time leveling up, so I'm going to be too weak to actually fight anyone properly. And there's going to be a few enemies throughout the run that I will have to kill. So the way I'll be killing those enemies is basically with a really heavy bag. If you've played the game before, you might know that you can teleport items on enemies, or teleport enemies off high places that deal different amounts of damage based on how heavy the item is, or how high the drop is. This is pretty much the same thing. I'm gonna basically load up a bag to like 800 kilos, and I'm just gonna drop it on a bunch of enemies to kill them in one shot. So I'll pick up a bedroll here to use for knockdown immunity in a few sections, then there's the crate I use for weight. So this part is going to be pretty complicated, so I'll try my best to explain. I'll start off by explaining a glitch that's called a super fling. Basically in the game, you can bind secondary inputs to all your controls, and for whatever reason, if you bind a secondary input to the interact control, so that's your left click usually, you can basically use that secondary input to throw items wherever you want on the map. You don't need to be in range, worry about wars, or even be able to see where you're throwing it. It just works. Don't ask me why, because I have no idea, but it's what allows a lot of the major skips in the run, which I'll use to fling the teleporting mirror off into space, and then just teleport into it later. So you're going to see me use the super fling to throw one of the baskets behind this wall to the magic star in the room up top, and that's going to trigger Wendigo to cast her big blast, and that basically sets up a timer for me to do all the next stuff in time. So I'll slow down the clip so you can see what I do next. So there's the fling. I fling that to Wendigo, then I'm gonna rest. So that's gonna give me the knockdown protection from Wendigo's attack. Then I'll throw a poison grenade at Gil. Now, you might not remember from your playthrough, but Gil is going to be in the lifeboat on the top deck after the Kraken attacks, and if I throw a poison grenade at him now, he'll take some tick damage once he gets moved upstairs, and that's going to be what triggers the end of the act, which saves me the trouble of having to do the whole top deck fight encounter. Then I'm going to use the Q command to queue some movement commands, so they'll go off a bit later, cast haste on myself, then let go of my Q command button at the right time, so that I'll move as soon as I finish casting haste. So the spot that I walk to actually just lets me go up the stairs from behind the wall, and then here I'm just spamming rest against to get more knockdown immunity for the Kraken attacking the boat. Then I just run over to this wall, and this is going to be where I do the wall clip. I'll speed it up now actually. Yep, and then I'm just going to pick up some Death Frog barrels and put them in a bag, and that's the end of the act. That's probably the most difficult trick in the run, I'd say, so if you want to give it a go, get past this and the rest is a lot easier. So now, starting in Act 1, you can see that I'm overweight, so what I'm going to do first of all is warp to the waypoint and place my heavy bag down so that I can move again. Then I'm going to recruit Red Prince in just a bit, and he's essentially going to be my pack mule, so he'll carry the heavy bag and I'll still be able to move around. So just then, if you didn't see, I lined up my minimap for a trick I'll do in just a bit. I'm going to pick up another heavy crate here just for weight. Talk to Selora. So every time I can, I'm going to be hasting, then ping cancelling. Here, I'm going to recruit Red Prince as a specific class, so that he'll have Thievery, and he'll be holding a knife. Then I'm going to do a setup that's going to let me do a super fling on a shell into Fog of War. And that's going to hit a Geist that's standing at the entrance of Fort Joy. That's going to trigger the Dallas interaction early and also get Alexander to start walking, which you'll see in a bit why that's important. So as I'm walking there, I'm going to do a bit of inventory management and give the knife that Red Prince has to my main character, and that's going to let me cast Backlash. That also gives me the Sucker Punch skill, but I don't need it, so I just tossed it off. You just saw me also send Red Prince to pick up the bag that I left by the waypoint. A little more inventory management here. Now as I'm walking, I make sure to walk right past that fire there, so I get the waypoint for Fort Joy. And here I pick up another sack just for weight, then I'm going to perform a pretty important glitch. You'll see it happen now. So you kind of missed it since I moved my camera away. But basically, as Alexander was walking to that gate, he's basically going to teleport from there to the end of Act 1. What I'm going to do, or what I did do, is basically backlash him at just the right time so that my attacks follows him all the way to where he ends up. So here I'm bringing Red Prince to Fort Joy to steal Tactical Retreat from Butter and give my main character the heavy bag. So as you can see, all of a sudden I'm at the end of Act 1, and since I have the heavy bag now, I'm going to use it to basically one-shot everyone here. So just leveling up a few things. Here I'm going to cast Play Dead. Normally the worm won't spawn until the next round, but if I'm out of combat when killing Alexander, it will spawn right away, and in the location I want it to every time. I'm using Super Fling right now to get these kills, by the way. Here I loot Alexander, since I'll need his items to trade for Cloak and Dagger with X-Star on the boat. And then stealing Tactical Retreat here. And then I'll just learn it. Chop to this guy. Okay, so this is going to be another long explanation. So first I'm just going to pick up that water barrel, and that's just going to be for another clip later, it's not too important. But what I'm going to set up here is called a node fling. Basically I'm going to move the oil barrel to a precise place where it won't let me place it. So you can see right there, the cursor's red, so I can't place it there. This basically sets up a node so that next time I super fling something, instead of going to where I place it, it's going to fly directly to the node's coordinates. Now, what makes this trick super broken is that the node stays there as you're transitioning through acts. Not the location, but the coordinates. So these coordinates in this map is going to correspond with the top of the mast in the Dallas fight in the next map, when she attacks the Lady Vengeance with Reader Man. Make sure to give myself the heavy bag, and that's the end of Act 1. Okay, so what I'm about to do here, so that glitch you just saw when I tossed the bag is called a Shiki Fling. Basically, I'll hold my Q command button, drag an item out of my inventory to where I want to place it, then do it again, and let go of the Q command, and this lets me toss stuff from my inventory wherever I want to, as long as it's in line of sight. I don't want to do a super fling here, since the node I'd set only lasts for one super fling, then it's gone. So I do a Shiki Fling here instead to preserve the node for when I need it. Just a bit more inventory management to make things easier for myself later. So now I recruit Ifan, and he's basically going to be my Red Prince substitute from now on. I'll send Ifan up to the bag, and I'll buy Cloak and Dagger from this guy. So here I'm going to do the wall clip with the water barrel I picked up. I'm going to pick up this just for weight, and actually just missed out. I'll rewind a little. So right there, I just performed a super fling, and you can see that the pyramid looked like it just sort of disappeared. So it went all the way to the coordinates of where I stored that node. Okay, so here I'm going to use 2 Deathfog barrels to kill all the guys down there on the boat, and that's going to trigger the next cutscene. It's a little RNG if I can kill all of them, since the spread of Deathfog is random, so you're going to see me quick save and reload if I don't get them all on the first try. Usually if you set up the barrels right, it takes around 1 in 3 or 4. Yeah, so there's the reload since I didn't kill them all. And I think I get them all this time. Yeah. So if you notice there, I set up another node with Ifan, all the way in the top left. Then I'm going to jump down here, to the bottom of the boat, just before the cutscene happens. You will see why I do that in a bit. So this is also where I learn Cloak and Dagger, since I've got a bit of downtime. So you can see, since I jumped with Ifan just before the cutscene, the second half of the jump plays when I get back from the Hall of Echoes, which causes Ifan to end up in the bottom layer of the boat, instead of up on the deck with my main character, where he usually spawns. So this saves the time of me having to walk down all the stairs and get to the bottom of the boat. And now it's time for Act 2. Since I set the node with Ifan, I'm going to be switching to him to do the super fling. You'll see in just a bit. So there's a super fling, then I'm going to jump down there to get the waypoint for the Lady Vengeance. And as you can see, the node sent me all the way to Bloodmoon Island. I'm gonna send Ifan to talk to the Advocate to get his quest. And then here I'm super flinging the bag right into where I need it to prepare for a fight. So for this encounter, as long as I play dead here, they actually won't care that I'm hitting them with the bag at all, so I can just kill them all while they're linked with Shackles of Pain without them doing anything. Okay, so here I set another node with Ifan, and then a funny little trick here is that if you just whack Melody, you save a bit of time and cause the cutscene to play immediately. So now moving on to Act 3. So we're going to start off by doing a node fling with Ifan, and then jump down to get the waypoint, same as Act 2. So then the node we set is in an out of bounds area, but this spot essentially allows for an easy setup to now super fling the pyramid all the way into the academy next to the tablets to be able to learn the source skills and progress the story without needing to learn them from Amadia, which takes a lot longer. Yeah, I was really nervous in the run and I just kept messing up moving the pyramid. So I recruit Ifan again here, then I super fling the pyramid right next to the Arbiter. So those weird teleports are just because I'm teleporting while the pyramid's still flying through the air. So here I go back to Lady Vengeance, and I'm basically just doing a setup to get another node. and that's going to send me all the way to the end of Act 4. I need to make sure I have 22 wits here, otherwise I don't go first in the next fight. So here I just skip this whole fight and I super fling the pyramid directly to the wellspring. Okay, so this is another glitch that's hard to explain kinda. So basically, we're gonna use this Death Fog barrel and explode it. And that's gonna kill Ifan and Alexander when they show up there during the animation. This skips some of the text with Dallas, and it also means that Ifan won't be alive in the next fight with the gods, so I only need to worry about killing Amadia instead of Ralik as well. I can also get some actions in just before I wake up properly in the god fight room, and that'll save me a bit of time. So there I just super flung my pyramid into a precise spot on that platform. And then what I'm going to do next is super fling my heavy bag to a specific spot, then teleport to the pyramid, which will cause Amadia to spawn right where my heavy bag is flying, and then get hit, and just die. So doing it this way is not also faster, but it also causes a glitch that will allow me to skip some text with Melody later. So I'll just kill the Titan with the heavy bag and get out of there. Yeah, so you can see that there was some text there with Amadia, which means the glitch worked. So normally after talking with Melody here, she's gonna teleport away to basically the front of the ship, and you need to walk to her and talk with her again to end the act. But because of the glitch, Act 3 just ends right here. What I also did before speaking to Melody is rest, so that I'm not knocked down at the beginning of Act 4 after the crash landing. So I'll do my final node fling, and then I'll dismiss Ifan since I don't need him anymore. So here I'm maneuvering with only jumps, so that way I don't trigger Melody to show up and knock me down again, which saves time. And just like Alexander, I'm gonna backlash Zalora, and that's gonna take me all the way to the boat where I can end the game. So now that's all that's left, is just to talk with the Dragon Head. And that's the finished speedrun. So hopefully you enjoyed this commentary video, and you can now go rewatch the speedrun and understand what the hell is happening. Huge thanks to Shiki, Worldlyy, Phasera, and all the other guys in the DOS2 speedrunning Discord for actually teaching me how to do the run. All of these tricks came from their hard work breaking down the game, and I sort of just came in and stole all of the techniques. Like I said, if you guys are interested in doing the speedrun, you can check out the speedrunning Discord in the link below, and maybe check out Worldly's beginner speedrun guide on YouTube to get started with the basics, which I'll also link below. Thank you guys for watching, and maybe you'll see me later with a new PB video.